I don't have anything funny to say today. So
I mean, before we started recording, we were making fun of Craig, and I want everyone to know why. I want everyone to know that Jennifer and Josh are jealous of me. Any guesses? Anyone want to take a stab in the dark as to why?
Why I'm jealous of you?
Correct. I know you know, like on some level you know, but I don't know if you can like admit it to yourself.
If I could like properly articulate why I'm so jealous of you?
Right. I think it might be subconscious. Nope, no one's got anything.
Okay,
I'll tell you.
I want you to tell me.
let me lay it out for you. All right.
Craig unrolls his scroll of grievances.
So,
is it your Guillermo del Toro trilogy box set?
Oh, I mean that was a stepping stone on the way to this thing that I have that you don't. So I do not have a vagina. All right. I've never been pregnant.
Really rubbing that in. All right.
Yeah. All right. I do not. I can't become pregnant. I've never had a child, but I know a doctor, and I got that stitch that you get after you have a pregnancy to make your pussy tighter, and that's why they're jealous. I got the stitch.
So your spiritual tighter pussy is why we're jealous of you.
Well, I mean, it's a literal actual pussy, but yeah, that's tighter.
Did you get bottom surgery?
No, I got the stitch. I don't have a vagina. I never had a child. I've never been pregnant, but I got the extra stitch. And my pussy's tighter now. Do you understand?
But without a vagina.
See, this is where the friction comes. They can't. They hate what they don't understand. Listener, can you hear that?
Delaney, what do you think?
They covet it. They covet the extra stitch.
Were a video podcast more than now, because I've just been sitting here with my hand on my forehead like I'm watching like I'm watching a car crash outside my house.
Hello and welcome to SWIMFANS. This is your show where we're all jealous of Craig Neeson's Stitch.
Yeah, I guess this is your tightest movie podcast of the week.
Your grippingest movie podcast. I am your co-host. I don't know, just fucking chop my whole foot off. I'm Josh McKenzie.
This is what Josh and Jennifer do to me every time we go camping. I'm Craig Neeson.
I'm telling people I'm doing experiments, but actually I'm doing massive amounts of psychedelics and playing with the big synthesizer. I'm Jennifer Hawking.
Hi, I'm Delaney, and all the information is on the task.
This week on the show, we are pleased to welcome back video essayist, video editor, all-around editor, Delaney Jordan. Welcome back to the show. This week on the podcast, we are talking 2021 Ben Wheatley film, In the Earth.
Just do it.
I'm sorry. Get that out of the way now. I'm sorry.
Not even in the bottom three movies Delaney's made me sit through. So there's that. Okay, so if you've not seen In the Earth, this movie, it takes place in England after a unnamed pandemic, and a guy named Martin is going out to a remote camp where science experiments are happening. So he's been assigned to go out there. He goes to the ranger station and he meets a ranger named Alma, and Alma's like, all right, so we have like a 2-day hike to get you out to Dr. Wendell, his future boss's campsite, so we better get going. So they go out. Somewhere along the way during their camping, they are attacked by woods people or something, and they get robbed. Their shoes get taken. And so they have to continue their hike through the woods without any shoes. Along the way, Martin steps on something very sharp and cuts his foot open very badly. So they're kind of in like a bad way until they are set upon by Zach, who's played by Reece Shearsmith, who I only know from watching the British game show Taskmaster, which explains Delaney's opening bit. So he takes them back to his camp, which is several rooms made out of tarps. And he's like, all right, let me get your foot stitched up. Let's get you some food. Let's get you some shelter, all this stuff. And he, supplies them with food and drink. And then pretty quickly they realize that they've been drugged. and they begin to pass out. So what we see while they're unconscious is that Zach has taken the pair, Martin and Alma, and he's put them in like ritual garb, and he has taken several photos of them before putting them back in their clothes and strapping them into chairs so when they wake up. Zach explains that he and Wendell were working together to like talk to like the woods, but like the demon in the woods, right? Like the spirit of the woods. And she believed that it was done through like scientific exploration and sort of an appeal to data and like a very formal sort of approach to make contact. But Zach's words are, I believe it is done through art and worship. So what I do is I abduct people and I turn them into little art projects, and this will appease the woods god for me. So obviously Martin and Alma aren't psyched about this. It's at this point that Martin's foot, which although it was stitched up, it's beginning to become infected. So Zach is like, I'm going to begin just amputating your foot. Martin is like, don't do that. Please don't do that. But he's like, I will do that. So he begins just like hacking his toes off sort of willy-nilly. Alma is able to grab a blade that has been dropped on the ground. She frees herself from the chair. She sort of savages Zach, and both of them run away in the direction of Wendell's camp. They sort of run in different directions. He's pursuing them, and then Martin comes across speakers, strobe lights in the woods, and this is sort of the perimeter of Wendell's camp here, and this sort of keeps Zach at bay. This is a whole like sequence in the movie, but basically what happens is the noise and the light keep Zach at bay, but Martin and Alma are brought into Wendell's camp. We learn that Martin and Wendell used to have a relationship, and so he still has quite a bit of affection for her. And Wendell also reveals that Zach is her ex-husband. They were out here doing science together. They were reading the Malleus Maleficarum, and it told them about like the mushroom god. So they were sort of studying how to get in touch with it. And, you know, as Zach said, their approaches sort of diverged here. And Wendell's approach is that she uses light and sound, her sort of interpretation of ancient legend, to sort of communicate with the network of fungus that's under the earth. So she uses like these strobing light patterns and this sort of like sound. She has like this big like synthesizer basically, and she's just sort of like playing sounds that seem to resonate with the sounds of the trees or something. But so she has this sort of, you know, different approach to it. When they try to leave, a cloud of spores and water surrounds the camp. So it's like this mist. And Alma attempts to go through it anyway, and she begins to have this sort of hallucinogenic horror situation. She has like a real bad trip, and she sees all sorts of stuff, and she's like, it stops her from going any further. It keeps them in the camp. And finally, in like the final movement of the film, Zach has come very close. It's clear that he will be sort of coming to get them, and perceiving him to be sort of the immediate threat, they make contact, and they're like, let's just do the ritual at the stone, which is supposed to house the woods god. Let's just do it here. So Martin takes mushroom slurry. He becomes the sacrament for this ritual. Basically, what you find out is that Olivia, Dr. Wendell, and Zach are sort of in this together. Surprise. They are going to sacrifice Martin to the woods god, which is supposed to curry favor or make him appear or something. Alma kills Zach finally, and in the process, she sort of triggers one more like hallucinatory trip for herself and Olivia before saving Martin and waking up in the woods the next day. The ritual spell seemingly broken. Delaney, you brought this to us. Tell us about In the Earth.
This is a side comment before I actually get my thoughts out of the way, and at your discretion whether or not you leave or not in the episode. I didn't really process when I was watching the film yesterday how much you doing the plot description would be different, considering that we have a mutual friend named Zach. So the entire time it just kind of kept dawning on me like, oh, it's not the same when Josh is saying it. It sounds like he's talking about Zach from the OPP killing people in the woods.
He would if he could.
He would if he could.
Folks, he would if he could.
Folks, you heard it here first. So, obviously, there's a line here from season 20 of Taskmaster to rewatching Reese Shearsmith's anthology show with Steve Pemberton, Inside Number 9, which is very, very good. I will only try to mention it one more time at max. And then, of course, you get to, like, are you in movies? Are you in any films besides the greatest film ever, Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage? Is there anything else here that I can check out? And I watched, during a down period in our local friend group, Halloween movie marathon. We had a gap in the last week, and I watched A Field in England, it's Ben Wheatley again, Reese Shearsmith, Michael Smiley, a few other actors, very experimental, also kind of about going off into the wild and getting high on mushrooms.
Yeah.
And my response was, I think I liked that. I don't know. I think I did. There were some moments where I was like, I don't know if I like this, but I walked away. I think it was like number 11 on my favorite watches of 2025, so like it left a good impression. I remembered when I used to live with my best friend Samuel, who was on with me to do Rocky Horror with Josh, which is only on Patreon.
Shouts out.
And his
Subscribe now.
And his lovely wife. When we all lived together, I remember walking in on them at the end of this film and watching the last 10 minutes. I could actually figure out, once I was watching it now, where I came in and thought, wow, this looks really dumb. This looks really confusing and stupid. But because I had liked Field in England, I was like, I kind of want to follow up on this one because it's meant to be the same film, kind of. And so when I went to Josh and I was like, please let me rattle my chains through the halls of SWIMFANS once more. And Josh said, pick something off your list. It was this or Mona Lisa. And I wanted to take a gamble because all I've ever talked about on this show are good films. And I knew if I picked Mona Lisa, I'd be like, all right, it's going to be like an hour 20 of us all talking about how good Mona Lisa is and how hot Bob Hoskins is. I want to gamble. So, I have seen everybody else's Letterboxd reviews, and I'm so sorry. And I'm sorry. That's all I can do. I got to take accountability and be better moving forward.
Jem, what did you think?
I didn't love it. I am slightly more positive on it than I was when the credits started rolling. I find Ben Wheatley kind of hard to pin down in his artistic preoccupations. Like, I can tell that he loves like folk horror, the aesthetics of the 1970s, but like whatever he's doing with those interests, I'm pretty lost on. Which I don't even mean to like say he's a bad filmmaker. I think he's like a perfectly fine filmmaker. Like, I liked A Field in England. You know, what I could understand of it, I'm gonna say I probably got like 70% of what happened in that movie.
Yeah.
I really liked the movie Kill List. And I thought High Rise had its moments. I think I've said this to you guys before, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, what I said off mic, but like, I think of him as like a more productive Vincenzo Natali. I think they work in sort of like the same budget bracket. They're interested in the same sort of like lower budget horror movie with like higher artistic ambitions. Like, that's kind of how I think of both of them. But I can tell that like Natali has interest in like philosophy and human behavior and like what like doing like certain situations would like bring out of certain people. I can feel his hand in kind of all that stuff and everything that I've seen by him. And all I kind of get from Ben Wheatley is that he likes mushrooms and like creepy sticks, but I don't think he can like make those like compelling necessarily on their own. Like, I didn't really care about these characters except maybe Alma, but like, she's so tied to her job of taking care of Martin that I eventually lost sympathy. Like, at a certain point you got to just throw him to the freaks and like like save yourself. Like, he's gonna be where he belongs with these psychos, and it's just time to get out of there. I don't think I really connected to the imagery that much either. Like, I think of Field in England psychedelic imagery pretty handily clears this. There's one shot of a rotating mirror that I really liked. But other than that, a lot of like the psychedelic images were just like food coloring drops into like a cloud tank or whatever, and like I didn't feel like it was too interesting in its construction. Yeah, I guess overall I didn't love it. It's another puzzling entry into the filmography of Ben Wheatley.
Yeah, I mean, this movie starts out kind of naturalistic, right? He's going out to the woods for an ill-defined scientific task. And eventually they meet someone who appears to be genial, but we know from every horror movie that when you appear to be genial and you meet someone in the woods, they're going to try to eat you or something. Yeah, I mean, it's
no nice people in the woods.
Never once in life.
No.
I mean, it takes like half an hour for us to meet the couple across the bar that liked your vibe. And like, you know, like... They're
God, I wish.
I think questions that are kind of interesting, like in what ways are they like working together? In what ways are they separate? What exactly is the thing? Is it an alchemist? Is it a mushroom network? I think it's very like Jennifer kind of posited interests. Actually, I feel like he's noting his interest like you would note things on a vision board. I'm interested in witches. I'm interested in mushroom networks and the idea of like Gaia and the holistic view of nature. I'm interested in like the world's worst couple. Yeah, like there isn't like the gore isn't jarring enough. I think like the most interesting part are the photographs actually that the guy makes of
oh my god, so True Detective.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, like they're actually really elegant. They're really simple black and white photographs, although he doesn't keep the print in the fixer long enough, and that wouldn't be archival.
Get his ass. Get his ass.
Fuck him up.
That would not be super light fast. You wanna like keep your ritual token. I mean, if you want to appease the god, that's not the way to do it. Yeah, no, I think the psychedelic sequences. I think the first one is way more effective because it comes out of nowhere, and then there's another one, and it has a lot of the same imagery recycled, like that initial like non sequitur that were opened up with the film, right? This hammer or this block smashing another block to create essentially what's like a flint arrowhead blade thing. We're seeing like a composite of all of these things that we've seen in the film, although like we haven't seen a lot of interesting things in the film. Like the woods isn't like nature is supposed to be like a character or something. Like it's supposed to be what they're like after, what they're trying to investigate, but we don't really get a good view on nature. Like nature feels alive and frightening in like Antichrist. It feels alive and frightening and real in Blair Witch, and we're given that kind of like that realism of like, okay, they're backpacking through the woods. This is all kind of on the level. There's some kind of COVID analogy thing happening where they're all wearing masks and disinfecting each other with bug spray things. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like I'm having difficulty articulating like a clear thought because I don't know that this movie contains a clear thought. It's like it's a gore movie, but the gore isn't particularly interesting. It's a horror film, but it's not particularly scary. It's a thriller. It's not particularly thrilling. It wants to talk about like mysticism and human connection to nature and in the city there's rampant disease and how do we reconnect with nature? Do we play it Sims or do we kill people and sacrifice their guts to nature? I don't know. I don't know where to. I don't know. I feel like it's a product of the period in which it was set, which again was like initial COVID, right? And I don't know that it has a particularly rounded view on anything.
Yeah, I think this is a mess. So I'll do like I'm fond of a compliment sandwich, so I'll do that. So I haven't seen a lot of this isn't a compliment sandwich. This is like there's one bun and then it's all meat. There's
open-faced sandwich.
So I realized I don't have anything nice to say at the beginning. So like I'm not that familiar with Ben Wheatley. The only movie in his filmography that I saw was High Rise, and I don't really remember High Rise. I remember it's Tom Hiddleston being distressed. So that's kind of my sense memory. But I do feel like I had a sort of similar broad reaction at the end of High Rise, where I was just like, okay, I don't really know what to do with anything that I saw. I didn't really like enjoy it, but it wasn't like offensively bad. So I just sort of filed it away somewhere. So my following critique is mentioning that I haven't seen the entries that it sounds like Delaney and Jen liked more, such as A Field in England or The Kill List. I haven't seen them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is a mess. I don't know what this movie's interested in. I really can't tell. And I hate to say it, but I think the end result is just entirely joyless. Like, I don't really know. I don't know what it's excited about. I agree that I like Alma the best in the movie. I think that actress is the most interesting. Although I'll say the woman who's being Olivia has a great, like, unblinking quality to her performance. Like, I like that she's just like just fucking gazing the most. And Reece Shearsmith is genuinely quite threatening. He's fairly upsetting as the woods hobo. So, you know, I think the performances are adequate across the board. I come on here all the time and talk about how excited I am to watch movies that are like about magic and like about ritual magic and performing ritual. And so I think that it has some interesting things to say about it. This is the compliment part of the sandwich, I guess. I love this concept where they open a book and they're like, how do we translate ancient mysticism into the present day? And so I really like Wendell's like modality of like using these flickering lights, these sort of sounds that are resonating with the trees. And then like to us as the audience, to us as human beings, it's this completely off-putting mess. It's like a sensory nightmare, but I like the idea of that sort of being a way to approach the Godhead or the ghost, whatever the fuck it is, a bunch of mushrooms, whatever. I think that's interesting. I like when you take esoterica, very old esoterica, and try to translate it into sort of a modern, using modern tools and modern technologies. We talked on the Poison episode. I know we talked about one of Jennifer's like film picadillos, which is when you fail to adequately adapt like a period of film when you're recreating it, and if you don't go all the way, it's a failure for her. For me, a similar thing that I have is that you cannot just name whatever like spooky book. You can't just call it whatever you want. Like the Malleus Maleficarum is a very famous book. It's just about killing women with rocks. Like there isn't I swear to God, you guys, it is several. I did my sophomore thesis in high school on the witch trials and the Malleus Maleficarum, so I understand. I like read about the book slightly more than average.
So on brand.
It is kind of like bringing out a book that's like, wow, the Necronomicon. It lets you talk to ghosts, and it's like, no, the Necronomicon does one thing. It's one thing.
But the book is about it's like several chapters of like, these are the various popes and cardinals who have agreed to write this book. These are all these German politicians who were like, this is how we should kill witches. And then the last bit of the book is about murdering women with rocks. So the inside of the book, there is no magical ritual. There is certainly no like folk like spells or folk tales. It's really about it's like liturgies. And it's a handbook at the end. So you can't just name something. It's really distracting. It's really bad. I've talked about this on the show very recently with the movie Undertone. You cannot just name a demon and then you're like, this is the bad guy, by the way. I looked up Azazel. This is Azazel now. It's like, it really flattens the movie. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like it makes it too cute. It makes it too like literal or something. And frankly, the role that this book plays in this movie is so minor and anecdotal that this could have been like a collection of folk tales from the United Kingdom. Here are folk rituals. And I'm like, naming it is ridiculous. It flattens it in such a way that's very irritating to me. Don't piss me off, is what I'm saying to this
It's
movie.
like the No Fear Shakespeare version of the Malleus Maleficarium, where it's like, I don't even know how accurate any of this is, but it sure does have the name Othello on it, so fucking is it the same book functionally? Who's to say?
Yeah, and I mean, like, nobody else cares about this, so I'll drop it in like a second. But like to me, it completely takes me out of any sort of story because like it feels like you didn't even do like one Google search, like you didn't even look to see if this book could conceivably hold this, and it could have been any book. You could have been like, oh, this was bound in the skin of Jacobites.
Yeah,
this is what it is.
The one
it could just
thing
be
you have
a
time
book
to
from
do.
back then.
The one thing you have
Yeah.
time to do during COVID, Google things.
Yeah. Anyway, like, but and so the reason why I'm like focusing so hard on that is because I do think the movie had an interest in like folk mysticism. It had an interest in magical ritual, which are things that I love to see on screen. And then it just completely burns it all because they didn't actually care, and I feel like I was led on and lied to.
Ben Wheatley
Yeah,
stuck his little ankle out in the street and was like, "Yoo-hoo! I got some arcane rituals for Josh."
I guess I vaguely like the concept of like, you know, what's the meaningful difference between this sort of, you know, intelligence we can't understand, you know, the sort of fungal network that, you know, we don't understand the real nature of in real life, and you know, an otherworldly presence. Like I think that's sort of interesting, but I don't think the movie's really that interested in it. I think it's much more interested in sort of whatever hallucinatory imagery and the scary guy in the woods. And I'm like, well, then just say that, and that's fine.
You can make a meal out of that. That's fair. And honestly, like when I think about structurally where this film kind of boffed it for me, and I consulted with the Brits as well. I wanted to bring this to Yanks, but I was like, you guys also lent me the film on Blu-ray. I would like to know your opinions. You like many of the people involved. But even they agreed. It's like the problem with this movie structurally is that it ramps up way too fast with Reese's torture tent, and then it deflates by going off to the scientist lady who is way more docile, and they spend way more time than they need to. And especially when they reveal at the end that, oh, they're still working together. It's like, okay, so now these two actors should be spending lots of time together as a unit. Like, this should now be, you know, if we're doing kind of a horror thing, like a horror climax, is this not the time to let them kind of have a big finale as a pair of villains? And instead, the doctor's off playing piano with a college arts project hanging in her tent, and meanwhile two guys are slumped up high off their ass on shrooms against a rock. And once we're at the point where the climax should happen, it's like, I feel like we could have gotten this reveal many minutes ago, and instead you just kind of took all the tension you were building up and let it kind of poot out like a balloon.
Yeah, and I also don't really even understand the purpose, because of the purpose of them like pretending to be. I don't even know why they're separate.
Why are you lying?
Why are they like? Because like the only reason ostensibly that they're separate is that like, oh, they had a philosophical difference that was absolutely irreconcilable. Like, she's like, we have to do science to talk to God, and Shearsmith is like, we have to do art to talk to God. A tale as old as time. I'm always saying this.
The eternal divide.
Yeah, and then like, but that's not like meaningfully. In terms of what the film's cosmology is, it's not meaningfully different. Like, it doesn't matter.
And
it doesn't matter.
I guess they're arguing at the end that it's not, by revealing that they're still working together, but like, there's no time for that to sit as a thought. There's like, that's not, you can't even absorb it into the skin before Alma's in the tent beating the fuck out of the woman with a jug of something. And then ramming a pole through Shearsmith's eye. Meanwhile, Joel Fry's just leaning up against the rock, being kind of. I feel really bad because I wanted to like his performance in this film after the glimmer of redemption he offered Craig Gillespie's horror story Cruella prequel. Because him, Paul Walter Hauser, and Emma Stone doing like Home Alone wet bandit shit is like the only fun thing about that film, and the rest of it was a fucking misery. But that earned him a lot of goodwill in my eyes, and I was like, oh, this script is not giving you anything to work with.
Yeah.
It really left him out to dry out of everybody in this cast.
I to go back to like why were they separated? Like there's at no point did it seem like they were trying to accomplish a task that would require them to pretend that they were like at odds with each other. Like they weren't doing like a good cop bad cop thing. It seems like he is basically under her spell before he even gets there. Of course he's gonna agree to drink the mushroom milk and like sit by a rock. Like there's no like
convincing
grand plan like necessary to get him under there.
Yeah, because and then honestly, you could have like really skipped a whole bunch of shit. If they're still together, then you can just get to, hey, drink the mushroom juice and see God. Like, let's go ahead and do that. And then you skip all of this nonsense of them like running away from the hobo in the woods. And it's like, because the movie doesn't really care about that. The movie's like, let's get to the mushroom god. And I'm like, by all means, let's get to the mushroom god. Skip this part.
I simply cannot wait to get to the mushroom god.
I'm praying every night at the foot of my bed. Please, please, please let me see the mushroom god.
Why aren't they going to the fireworks factory?
Yeah, so I mean, like, the structure here makes no sense to me. The tension isn't like building in a way that feels satisfying. I don't think like the ideas are building on each other in a way that seems satisfying. It just seems like things are happening.
Yeah.
And poor Alma's getting the worst of it, and I'm like, leave her alone. She's just a park ranger.
Well, I was also thinking a lot of like Blair Witch Project while I was watching this, and like how amazing that movie is at like bringing you in with like these people and like showing you like their loss of hope and their like confrontation with like the unknowable like out in the woods, and how like that manifests in a way that's like really creepy, and like grounding it in like this sort of like student film gone wrong kind of narrative. And here it like literally just felt like they were just like sort of like skipping the movie and like all of that stuff until they got to like the crazy guy camp. It felt like a mad dash there, other than like some lip service of like, oh, what's that giant ominous piece of art in the lodge here or whatever.
Sure hope that doesn't happen to us when we're out in the woods.
Yeah.
Boy, sure would suck.
me when I go outside and hope no folk horror occurs to me.
I love how it gets hand waved away. He's like, well, what about this piece of art? It looks kind of scary. He's like, I don't know. It's probably just it's like the stuff in here. It's like, oh, the floating sacrifice where children are being like fed into a void, and there's some kind of like unholy matrimony happening. That was like, we're gonna put that up with the blinds and the fucking and the duvet cover. Like, that's not. It's just like these things, like the kind of witchcraft. Again, it's like here's this thing I like. Here's this like idea of like this is what horror is. You put a book that has absolutely nothing to do with anything you've talked about in the film into the film. Great.
Yeah.
Like,
wouldn't that be cool?
And it doesn't like, and I think this is for lack of kind of like imagination. It like doesn't give you enough of a ritual insofar as like we don't know what Endgame is, right?
Yeah.
Like,
No.
What are we trying to achieve here?
Like what kind of feedback are we getting? Like what is being said? Like, okay, I mean, we get both of their speeches, right? She's saying that like she's hearing communication. She even like a DJ like gives our lead like the earphone. He's like, holy shit, it's like making cool sounds. He seems very excited by the prospect that the forest is talking back. It's like, but what is it saying? What is it? Is it like, because it's telling the other guy to kill people? He's talking to it out loud, and it's like. But like, what is the ritual of drinking a heroic dose of liquefied mushrooms by a big rock do, actually? what is sacrificing him on again, like enough mushrooms to kill a horse? It's not. It's just not satisfying, right? Like even in a dark song, even though the ritual goes wrong, there was still that idea that you are eventually going to encounter your angel, and you're going to be able to ask your angel one thing, and it's like that's a setup.
Yeah.
I'm not asking
Yeah.
for closure all the time. I'm fine with ambiguity, but I don't know that like these things, like in terms of stakes, in terms of what may or may not happen. It leaves it all on the table.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
because,
my read of the ending, I mean, based on some of the dialogue, is that it sounds like they're trying to get The Rock a host, like a new host. And then I guess at some point Alma kind of takes the bullet, which is why she sounds, why we see the trip from her perspective, and then why she sounds weird in the last shot of the film. And I guess that's kind of a metaphor for, like, I don't know, care practitioners taking the brunt of the Earth's latent rage and desire to kill us. But again, this is like the last 10 minutes of the film. Like, this is not a thing that, up till then, it's mixtapes and spooky pictures.
I don't know that works as a metaphor. Like her becoming
this is
the
just where
embodied.
I'm coming from. This is just,
Well,
I'm trying to make some degree of sense. I can't promise that I will.
Well, no, because my next beef with this movie and my litany of beefs is like what I don't understand any point of like what this like sort of COVID commentary is doing here. Like it only matters in the first 25 minutes, really, where you have to watch them like use hand sanitizer and like socially distance, and I don't know, show like their vaccine passports to like get onto this woods facility, and then it ceases to matter. And I don't even know why it's in here. And it's like, oh, if the idea is that this is like a M. Night Shyamalan's The Happening type deal where we're having pandemics because the Earth is mad, I don't think the movie sufficiently does that in any way whatsoever.
No.
Because-
No one's arguing that's a successful thing they do. Just the idea exists.
But like Craig was saying, I don't know what they're doing. Like, I don't know why they're doing a ritual. I don't know why this is like happening post-pandemic. It honestly feels like, oh, it's 2021. This is high COVID. I better make a pandemic movie. It wasn't about a pandemic beforehand, but now it is.
Oh, no, Josh. To be clear, they produced this. He wrote it in a week during COVID, and they shot it in 2020. Like, this was one of the first things
and that's what it
to
feels
shoot.
like.
I'm sure
Yeah.
it does. It's not one of those that they tacked on like a COVID analogy once they were allowed to film again. Like, it's entirely your mileage on whether or not it works, but it's like, this is maybe one of the only pieces made in the thick of COVID that was not like a Malcolm and Marie tier disaster, or like, you know, the Parks and Rec Zoom reunion. Like, it's an emotion within the moment rather than on the other side of it, which is, again, subjective, but it's there.
Yeah, well, I mean, in that case, then maybe they're too close to it. Like the ramifications
Maybe.
of it have not yet been made.
To me, it just sort of seems to be happening during the COVID pandemic. It doesn't. I didn't really get much of like a viewpoint on like the that like checkpoint he has to go through. Or, you know, like it didn't really seem like it was commenting on it as much as it just sort of included it. And in that way,
Sure.
it felt really dated.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that, like, I guess the thing with the torture tent and Shearsmith's character is like that does kind of work for me in the sense of kind of the horror of the pandemic exposing like more or less who you share the world with, and like all these people who are trying to like create a narrative around COVID, and like, you know, conspiracy theorists and COVID denialists, and like here's how actually it's all China's fault and shit like that, and like people who were more or less willing to let the disease kill everybody just to sort of reaffirm a weird, some spiritual point or some emotional point about certain ineffable ways the world is meant to work. But then again, it just all goes out the window with the doctor, with the scientist lady, because I think you could have maybe made a point if you'd stayed locked in with the conspiracy theorist thriller, but like then the point gets really messy once you bring in this whole other lady, who I guess is also another side of that, because I like that bit where they're having the conversation next to the rock, where like she's talking to him about their relationship, and he's like, you know, his parents have died. He's like, I just really wanted to see you. And she's like, no, you're having a scientific reaction. And it felt very similar to how the opposite of this weird, almost like fantasizing about COVID was like the overdiagnosing of like why people do anything. It's like, no, like we need to talk to people. Like we're lacking human connection. And it's like, it's peppered in there, but like that's not to do with the pandemic there. I mean, it kind of is, but it's a thread that really ebbs and flows. And sometimes it matters and sometimes it's about a big rock. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, like, based on like the latitude you're giving the movie there, like, it seems like the movie simultaneously wants to be like our relationship to the pandemic and nature, but also our relationship to the pandemic and society. In which case, I would suggest not setting the movie in the middle of the woods, because where there is an urban center, I think would be a better, or even a town, really would be a better idea about like COVID and society. And if the movie was about you know, how the way that we're killing the planet is likely to cause more and more biological horrors to occur to us, I probably, I may have cut the woods demon. I don't know. Like, it's not enough about this to justify, like, sabotaging the movie's, like, verisimilitude to put a folk demon poster next to the OSHA poster at the science lab. It's too many things that aren't gelling and aren't making, like, a coherent, unified point, that I'm just like, simplify whatever is happening here. If you want to make a movie about a demon, great. If you want to make a movie about the pandemic, I am less interested in that, but go ahead. You know, I don't know, but this is too many things and none of them are mixing.
It definitely is, to me, like the strongest affirmation that I did actually like A Field in England, and I wasn't just so baffled by the imagery that I had seen that I was like, I think I've been browbeaten into liking it. Like, no, I like it, and I think the reason that works and this doesn't, and Jen, I'm interested in what you thought about this as well, in as much as you remember the film, is that it gets a lot of a pass in the way that this film doesn't, because it feels like an etching, like a 17th century etching basically come to life. And it's this story that is about like an alchemist, and I think that Shearsmith's character is like debatably an actual homunculus within the text. Like within the text they call him that, and it's both an insult and like actually I think he is just a fucking homunculus. And it's just like this descent into hell or death or England or something, where Michael Smiley is tying you to a rope and using you as a dowsing rod, and it's I think it commits some of the same sins, but it gets a bit of breathing room, because it's the literal events are debatable. What's actually happening is debatable. When they look up in the fucking sky and the berserk eclipse is coming down because they ate too many shrooms, and then they start doing like imaginary wizard magic to each other. It literally like looks like 12-year-olds like lifting their arms going like, "Whoa, I do spell of ice."
Too magic.
But like it works because you're not like, you believe that they believe because they're fucking high on mushrooms that they found in the field. And it's more about how what the characters perceive to be real than finding like a literal explanation. Whereas this, I think, gets a bit too literal. Like, I think they try to tie things a bit too close and then work up.
Yeah, so much of the appeal of A Field in England to me was sort of like the ambiguity of like how much of this is actually happening versus like what's kind of going on in their heads. And I feel like the group dynamic in A Field of England was much more interesting, because you had like, they were like people who like deserted a war, right? Yeah. They're like these kinds of like historical fuck ups who now have to do the bidding of like an annoying wizard. And I think like that's like a really interesting premise for a movie about people going insane in the woods. And I think like there's like I think it does a lot with like viewpoint and like what they're trying. I don't know. And it's like to me it felt a lot more cohesive, a lot more thought out than this did.
And it also doesn't commit the sin that this movie does, which is there's a really, really great bit in Field in England where Michael Smiley takes Reece Shearsmith into a tent and just like you don't know what he's doing in there, but it's like a whole scene happens and it's underscored by the sound of Shearsmith getting fucking tortured and screaming like bloody murder, culminating in this really like frightening shot of him coming out like with a rope tied to him. And that's like maybe the scariest moment in the film. But like the tension doesn't stop after that point. It's like, okay, it's just moved up a bit, even if nothing that overtly frightening happens again. Versus this movie, which has like it has the tent and it's got all the spooky gore and stuff with the photos, and it kind of turns into a Hannibal episode for a while, which is like, okay, fine, if that's where this is going, that's where it's going, and then it kind of tries to backtrack and sort of redo the intro bit, because you could easily restructure this into 20 minutes walking around in the woods, and then you meet the scientist, and then you leave the scientist, and then you go to the torture tent. Like it doesn't deflate. A lot of my positive feelings for what they were doing in this film really tanked once we got to the second camp. A second camp has hit the earth.
Field of England is so much more like art directed too.
Yeah.
Like it's all in black and white and it's like foggy and it has that sort of like abstraction to it.
It's kind of like a Beckett play, like the way that it's written and shot. It kind of feels like a Waiting for Godot, but with hallucinogenic mushrooms.
Yeah, I could see that. But like I didn't really like the photography or like how this looked very much at all. There's like one of those tents I think has like So I double featured this and Hokum, and I'm like unsure about what happened and what. I'm pretty sure the red tent was this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was cool. I thought they did a good kind of like red-green thing with that sequence, but like there was a lot of this where it was just like, here's some vaguely lab-looking equipment out in like an open tent in a tree clearing, and it never like felt art directed in like a meaningful way. Like it felt more like, I think like parts of it looked like they're like shot on like an iPhone as well. I kept feeling like a kind of like a format switch, and it kind of kept taking me out of the movie. But I don't know too much about the making of it or anything.
The more that we talk, the madder I am that the movie spends like 20 minutes of like Martin and Alma just like stumbling through the woods, because now I'm like, fucking why? You're not talking about mushrooms. You're sort of talking about the pandemic, but that's okay because they're going to drop it in another 5 minutes. You're not really talking about Dr. Wendell. It's just fucking chatter as the runtime ticks by, and nothing happens until Martin cuts his foot.
Yeah.
I'm angry, actually. Fuck off. Why?
Yeah,
I didn't notice while watching, but I'm like, this is such a waste of time.
Yeah, no, it didn't occur to me until things started moving, actually, that entire build-up was wasted. Like make the forest daunting, or reveal things in conversation. Maybe have the lead hide things in conversation, be evasive. Do something. And I guess comparing it to Blair Witch is not like fair, but they're having conversations that slowly go south, right? Like it starts really normal and then it stops, and then it's a gradual descent into fear and frustration with each other, and then hatred of themselves. It's elegant. But they're not doing anything. Like the forest is we're just watching two people backpack.
It's just the woods.
It's just the woods.
And what's crazy is it's not like they didn't know, because there is the scene where you watch Martin have ringworm, and then later Wendell's like, oh, did you, like, the ringworm is supposed to be summoning him to the mushroom rock. All right. So it's like, it's not like they didn't have this idea that the woods could be sort of doing wood stuff, but they're saving any hint of like strangeness for after the entire middle body horror segment.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I'm like, this doesn't have to be segmented. Sprinkle that in everywhere.
Yeah. I feel like I really wanted them, like the main, like Martin and Alma, to have like more of an investment in what's going on in the woods. They sort of just, it feels like they just kind of like come across it, and they're like subjected to it. I feel like they're not invested in it. I don't know if this crosses over in trying to fix the movie or whatever, but I just feel like they're too disconnected. They need to have some sort of stakes in the plot, which I feel like they don't, other than their own survival, which is kind of like secondary to some of like the faux science-y occult stuff.
Because if it was a movie, so if like Zach, again, I like Zach and Alma, I think they're my two favorite characters in the movie, but like if they weren't in the movie, you would have this movie about Martin, this woman that he sort of has like a fixation upon, who's like going like occultish insane in the woods, and then she like uses him for her magic experiments. That seems a lot cleaner to me. It seems like something about how I don't know, you could like take advantage of other people to suit your own means, which I feel like you could more easily loop into like a pandemic sort of metaphor if you really wanted to. Mm-hmm. But there's just so much shag here that anything they're trying to say is completely lost for me.
If you hacked off like let's divide the movie into thirds, right? Apart from the fact that I don't like the last third, I feel like if you cut any one of them off, you would probably have a more cohesive film. Because it's either like you have the first 2/3 and it just turns into misery saw in the woods with this conspiracy guy, or you have the last bit and the first bit where, like you say, it becomes a straightforward thing about getting lured to the woods by your ex with ringworm and being sacrificed to a mushroom god. Or
love getting ringworm from my ex.
Or you have the last two where it's the contrast between this murder couple, even though maybe they're a couple, maybe they're not. Again, it's only like the last 10 minutes where this gets to be a thing, and like horror families are pretty fucking iconic. So like the fact that this movie is about to give you one and then never lets you see it or enjoy it is like okay. Like they don't even have lines together. Zach and the dog, like they don't have any dialogue between the two. It's only that shot of her at the piano that keys us into her being just as crazy, apart from the earlier like hints and bits, but like she was a different kind of crazy until we go to the art gallery. But like I think I see what you mean, Josh. Where like it's shaggy. If you packed off one bit, you'd have a cleaner film. But instead we have all of them, and it's a bit, they're all competing to fit into the movie.
If Rob Zombie directed this, the dynamic between the evil couple would be the highlight of this film.
If Rob Zombie directed this, Martin would be in pieces by minute 37. Yeah. You would at least have a movie.
Well, you would actually probably get like a real escalation to his injury, not just his foot is fucked up in a new way. It would probably be like, now his hand is fucked up. Now his like neck is fucked up, and then
that leg needed to be mangled by the time the movie was over. I do not know why they teased us with, oh, he's got a cut, but now he might lose a toe. It's like, all right, dude, like this needs to step it the fuck up.
Go for the knee. Do something cool, man.
What about this?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Craig.
Go ahead. Oh, this counterfactual about Rob Zombie directing the movie actually just awakened something in me. Like if the couple were allowed to be a couple together, because she has crazy eyes, like she has like it's like everything that she says is like stilted and unnatural, and like the guy is actually kind of loquacious and charming in the way that like a devilish, little pixie in the woods is charming and loquacious. I think that they could be really great freaks together, but the movie disallows any screen time between the two of them. The most is like she walks off into the woods to talk to him when he lights that flare, and like I'm like, what are they saying? We don't learn what they're saying, but obviously they're in cahoots in some regard. But like they're perfect. We need to see them together. Like I think that's what the movie was asking. Needed is the science and then the freak art shit to come together.
And on that track, like there's bits across the film where you see Shearsmith get like a little bit, not like aggressively, but like a little touchy with Alma. Like he strokes her face at one point and like touches her hair, and he's like, it's not like Otis Driftwood style, like flat out sexual harassment, but it is like there's an indication there, and then you find out that like he's technically still married, or at least in a professional partnership still. It's like, wow, this would have been interesting to introduce if there was any indication that we wanted to go down this route. It's especially weird because one of the actor's flagship comedy bits is about a folk horror couple. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, missed opportunity.
Yeah. It's rough watching this film because it's like when an actor, writer, director, anyone, like when they go off and do someone else's movie, they're only doing one job. You're only there watching them do one job. You're not supposed to do that thing where it's like, well, what if you watched the film? But it's hard not to when the film is lacking. And because Shearsmith is a writer and writes like short horror stories, like it is kind of hard to look at this film and be like, if you had half an hour, I know for a fact that the person who was doing a different job in this film from writer could write this with like focus. Like it is a distracting element of the film when the writing drifts and there's another guy who is literally right here who could do this clean.
I was gonna suggest more like script doctoring. I'll spare you. I guess my last real thought is I did sort of like the strobe heavy sequences. I did enjoy those, but I just like a strobe light. You know, so
two strobe light and psychedelic movies in a row.
Ooh. I timed it bad.
No, it's okay. I did want to echo Jen that like I really did like that rotating mirror shot. I thought that was really beautiful and really interesting to see more of that. I mean, not like the exact same thing, but more of that sort of energy I would have appreciated in the motion picture.
Yes, but would you also have been upset if they had taken the 20 minutes in the crazy doctor's camp and allocated it to spinning mirror shenanigans?
I don't know. Maybe not, because at least that would have been at least a direction that the movie was more interested in than this sort of like holding pattern, waiting for something to sort of congeal into a story or a theme. You know what? I am going to say it. What if there was a movie where, like, he's going through the woods and because we all want to see Martin get hacked to pieces. That sounds like it's a universal thing among the four of us.
Weird it doesn't
Alma
happen.
needs to be our final girl.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
But, like, if we really want to make, like, a pandemic sort of movie, what if there's a situation where, like, Martin is consistently getting, like, by Zach, who in this sort of idea would be sort of a representation of like humanity and how people treat other people. He's like constantly abused. He's like falling apart, but he has to keep doing science in the woods, representing the way that we take people who are, like Delaney said earlier, like a healthcare worker or some sort of other like scientist who's ostensibly trying to help, but instead the sort of evil forest hobo masses are just mutilating them with axes because we're trying to appeal to some god, which could I don't know, capitalism, the literal Christian god, I don't know any of that stuff. And so he's like a walking, shambling Wicker Man for the COVID pandemic, instead of just a guy who takes mushrooms at a rock.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that's a very good movie either, but it does feel like a better depiction of a metaphor to me.
Yeah, what if it went full like Event Horizon and like the ringworm started like making runes on his skin and like he got all contagious and fucked up?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Wait, why does Shearsmith have to do it? Why doesn't the worm do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, have
Ben,
they not heard
call us.
Have they not heard of Chekhov's worm? Come on.
Ben, let us lay spiritual hands on you, Ben.
I'm not contagious, Ben.
Well, they do have kind of again, it's one of those things that they just sort of dribble into the script where, like, you know, when they have to hack the toe off and Martin's like, they present the option of going to the hospital only to have it immediately removed from them. It's like, well, we could go to a hospital, but that's 30 miles away. Or we could hack the toe off, which is clearly just a one-sided question. He's hacking the toe off. And then, of course, there's the bit where right before, once Alma gets the pick in his eye, like, he tries to get it out.
Oh, yeah.
The button on the end of that whole sequence is a very blasé, right, you have to take me to the hospital, which honestly,
was good.
I think that was like, there is in some way a fun element to that in that it removes a lot of the mysticism of what we've been watching, where like you would think that it would be a holy thing. Like Michael Smiley, Field in England, keeps up the kayfabe the whole way through. Like there's no shaking of the fact that like he's an alchemist and a devil or whatever the fuck. Like immediately as soon as he has enough like grievous bodily harm, she's like, right, you have to take me to a hospital, which did kind of bring back memories of like COVID deniers actually getting COVID. It's like, okay, yeah. All right, healthcare professional, you need to help me, please.
This movie has flashes.
It does.
It's just like it's not. Yeah. Well, does anyone have any final thoughts about In the Earth? I did the Leo point when they said In the Earth. Sorry, go ahead.
They did, yeah. The score is good. The Clint Mansell score, very fun, very abstract, very whoopy. It was definitely gave a lot of body to all the sound and light sequences in the middle there, which like I think if it hadn't, I would have. I'm hanging around a 3 for this movie. If it hadn't been there, I probably would have been down to a 2. But it's lifting in a lot of places that the script is undermining any of the work going on that's working.
Yeah, I like the score as well.
Yeah, I liked the whole like sonic experience of what Wendell's doing with the synthesizer. I don't know what to call that piece of equipment. I like the whole sonic expression of that.
Just hanging out in strobe lights with a big droning synth. Sounds like a good time for me.
That's you.
Sonic.
Yeah, you described it as like a miserable, unpleasant experience, and I was like, I don't know. That sounds kind of sick.
Josh, how did you know that Sonic Expression is going to be the new title for the Nintendo Switch 2? Complete with butt rock.
I gave this 2.5 stars. I'm not that familiar with Wheelie, although you have made me curious about A Field in England. Yeah, I didn't really care for this much.
That's a far more interesting movie. I agree. This movie, which is called In the Earth, I gave this 2 stars.
I gave this 2.5. I think I am curious on A Field in England. That does sound kind of interesting. But yeah, no. Yeah, I appreciate the time crunch and the budget crunch, but I simply would have never.
I just wouldn't
consider not. I mean, you have to remember, like, he was coming off of like Netflix Rebecca, which is the weird hook upon which his career lives, which is like one day it's Kill List and A Field in England, and the next day it's The Meg 2.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's a completely, as soon as he gets over to the other side of things, it's a completely different world for this man. It baffles me how it's like, oh, I like A Field in England, and after that, 5 films which don't exist. 5 movies that are objectively not real. Which is what fascinates me a little bit about the man, honestly. I was like, I kind of want to, that's why I kind of wanted to watch this movie, because I had a conception about who he was, and then that got tilted a bit by Field in England. And and also the Metacritic scores for this movie are all over the fucking place. Like, you cannot get a single firm read on what the review aggregate was anywhere. For me, I'm hanging it around. I'm hanging it around a 3. I liked a lot of stuff that I thought, like, on its own could have worked better than I'm willing to knock down for its many faults. But there were moments where I was like, I could have given this a 4, but it just is not. It's getting sagged down by a lot of excess that is killing a promising experience. But yes, I encourage you, watch Field in England, and please have me on, because I've been so annoying about that film all fucking year.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, Patreon, if nothing else, maybe we can do it.
He's such a hard filmmaker to pin down. I said that earlier, but like, there's a clear aesthetic interest I see from him, but in terms of some like greater philosophy, I'm completely lost.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's never been able to like transition to Hollywood as like an auteur guy. Maybe it's because like he's so excited to do like experimental shit. Like, if you haven't seen the trailer for his latest movie, which is called, I don't remember what the hell it's called, but it's like it's an experimental low budget thing with like 4 actors and the most, like, the cheapest effects. It might be called like Bust or something like that. And it's like, it's crazy that you have a guy who is shooting for this sort of thing here, and then he has to go over and do a Bob Odenkirk geezer teaser, but in Nebraska, so it's different. Like, it baffles the mind. So maybe that's why he's never gone over, is that he hasn't done like a Robert Eggers thing or an Ari Aster thing where he's like nailed what his vibe is.
I totally see that.
Do we want to crack open the question casket?
Oh, we have quite a few.
Yeah, let's get a couple of them down.
Okay. I have some here. From Fizzy Bison, any thoughts on Sam Peckinpah's movies?
Ouch.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
No, me neither.
Ouch is pretty good. I think I've only seen Straw Dogs, and I found it so hateful that I gave my copy to Craig, I think.
Yeah, now I have the cursed fucking Peckinpah ring. Yeah, it's hard. I think I saw The Wild Bunch when I was a kid. I've seen Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia.
I've seen that.
Yeah, but Straw Dogs is just, it's brutal. I think there's like a brutality to his movies, even if I guess in different forms. It's kind of a, I don't know. I don't know how to say it. There's of course violence, but it's violence done in such a way that just feels like unpleasant. I don't know how to describe it. The violence in Dread is fun. When the gun has different modes.
Straw Dogs is like a little too grounded, and it's a little too drenched in his bleak worldview.
Yeah.
There's a genuine hatefulness to that movie that I really struggle with.
Yeah. No, that movie's fucking rough. It's great.
I
but
needed a shower. I literally had to I watch a lot of sleazy movies, but I've never felt like I needed a shower until I saw Straw Dogs.
Oh.
Yeah. That and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, man. Like, those movies just rub me the wrong fucking way.
Love me some Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I fucking
talk
love
about
that
a horror
movie.
couple, or a horror family, or a horror like familial unit. This is from Naji Kirima. It's more of a recommendation. It says, "Happy birthday, Jen." Thank you. In honor of the occasion, let me recommend you a movie from my home nation, Wake in Fright, from the director of Rambo, of all things. It is a hideously bleak hangout movie with some actual animal deaths, so use judgment. Wake in Fright has been on my list for like probably 14 years at this point. I watched a documentary. It was from the people who did that Canon Films documentary. They did one about just like Australian exploitation. It was called Ozploitation or something. It looked like the most compelling movie in that kind of scene, and it was out of print for a really long time, but I think it's back in print now, and I should probably pick up a copy. Maybe we'll do it for the show too. Have any of you guys seen Wake in Fright?
I have not.
No.
It sounds like I think it's about a guy having a real bad time in the Australian outback.
I understand that everybody has a real bad time in the outback.
A field in Australia.
Crocodile Dundee is having a good time. That's just, he's
Yeah.
happy. That's
Yeah, he
happy
likes
place.
that.
Yeah, he's sick.
He's fucking into it. Sick fuck.
You piece of shit.
You
You like the outback, don't you?
Oh, those dingoes get you moving? Yeah, you fucking animal.
One more from Fizzy Bison. Who is everyone's favorite director? Craig, go.
God, you guys would not like my first impulse on that one.
Is it Lars von Trier? Say
Alex
it.
Garland.
Say it, Craig.
Alex Garland.
You know
Come on,
what?
Craig.
You know what? Fuck, man. Like, this implies that I like the guy.
It does
Yeah,
not. It does not imply
honest-
that you like the guy.
Okay, honestly, I think it's true. I think it's probably Lars von Trier. Sorry.
enough.
Wow.
You heard it here, folks. He likes the
Damn.
guy.
Oh, okay. Actually, you know what?
I was Jodorowsky or David Lynch or something.
So yeah, no, I would say there was a fierce competition between Alejandro Jodorowsky and Lars von Trier. That would be my definitive answer. Kind of depends on the day. Am I happy? Alejandro Jodorowsky. Am I having a bad time? Am I sad? It's Lars von Trier.
Josh, who's your
This is
favorite
super
director?
This is tough. I like when I saw the question, I sat and thought about it for a while. I think if I have to go by person who I'm captivated by every time I see a movie. If Craig gets 2, then I get 2. It would probably be Satoshi Kon or Wong Kar-wai.
Okay.
I've never seen even a so-so experience from either. Well, unfortunately, Cohn's no longer with us. But neither of their works that I've experienced have even been mid to me.
Yeah, I fully see your sensibilities at that intersection.
What about you?
Delaney, who's your favorite director?
See, it's tricky because I feel like a poser saying Lynch, and I only mean that in the sense that Twin Peaks is one of my favorite things in this world, but in terms of his filmography, I have kept it deliberately spotty, and I say that because I'm happy to kind of space them out so I can have new Lynch to discover as time goes on. So I've seen a few of his movies, but I haven't seen all of his movies. I have seen the collective works of Hayao Miyazaki, so maybe I would go with that. I also like George Miller, but George Miller's been annoying lately, so I'm gonna go with my instincts and say
he's in the shame crate.
He's in the shame crate with Alex Garland. Although Garland could work his way back out. I liked the 28 Years even though he didn't direct him. But yeah, I guess it's Lynch, but on a technicality, it's Miyazaki.
Mine is probably not surprising anyone. Dario Argento.
Nice.
I named myself after the main character of Phenomena. Love giallo films. Love his horror stuff. I think he has a pretty untouchable, almost 30-year run of movies, being prolific and producing interesting stuff too. I love that guy.
Yeah, there's a few that you and I think Craig have mentioned on the show that I haven't seen yet that sound cool, because I think I've only seen Suspiria, Phenomena, and Opera. I don't know if I've seen more Argento than that.
Deep Red.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one you guys have talked about.
Just Red.
I gotta go deep. I gotta get deep. What am I doing?
I was thinking of bringing Four Flies on Grey Velvet here as an unknown pleasure because it's one of the kind of good run of Dario Argento films I haven't seen yet.
Oh.
There's plenty of his
Word.
later stuff I haven't seen either, but that might be a different kind of episode.
I love that. Thank you guys for the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a question still in the docket. So if you've asked us a question on Blue Sky and we haven't gotten to it yet, rest assured, it is crystallized for us. We know where it is. It will be addressed. If you would like to send in questions or comments or questions, suggestions, or comments for the show, you can do that on any of our social medias. So SwimFans Pod on Instagram, Blue Sky. You can send in questions on like the Spotify episode comments, and you can email us, swimfanspodcast@gmail.com. Any of those will get to us. Please and thank you. You can also find the show wherever you get your podcasts. So that is Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you're listening. Please rate, please review, please subscribe, please share, please tell a friend, especially now that we're doing movies that you might have seen or would be interested in seeing. Yeah, that could be fun. And lastly, we are on Patreon, patreon.com/swimfans. For as low as $1 a month, you can get access to all sorts of episodes. You can hear Delaney and I talk about the Rocky Horror Picture Show with Samuel Button Bell. You can hear any manner of strange episodes of Swim Fans. You can get them over there.
You're mostly signing up for that, though, and that's okay. Learn about Bralf. Join the cult.
Learn about Rocky Horror crack ships.
One of us.
Delaney, where can people find you? Where can people find what you're doing? Your work. Where can all that be found?
Yes, I'm at Infinite Snow or Infinite Snow Pro on Instagram, Blue Sky, Infinite Snow Productions on YouTube, where my current 100-minute long abomination, Disney Gets Wicked, is currently in a holding pattern while the corporation I used to work for decides if it lives or dies, hopefully by the end of the month, and if not, then I'm going to crawl into a cave and die. Also, if you watch that video, you will hear the immediate fallout of me making Josh watch the actual worst thing I've ever made anybody in life watch. So tune in for that. This one's for you, Swim Fans. Also, go check out Girl Perverts, which is a podcast that me and Vero, aka Ginkgo Crown, just launched together. It's our ode to girl trash, and we have a couple episodes up already. Most recently, we talked about One Piece, the Whole Cake Island arc. So that is out and available for you. Also, Patreon. I did not talk about Rocky Horror on Patreon, on mine at least. So you only get that in the Swim Fans communal pool.
Yeah, the slurry.
The
Swim Fans
slurry.
Thank you so much for coming back on, Delaney.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
You're good. I love being edified on Ben Wheatley. So
you can find me online at all the social medias. That's user Amons, AMONNS. I've not been watching movies lately. I'm in a low swing for movies in my spare time. However, I am Anne Rice pilled. I am Lestat maxing. I've never been more Claudia pilled in my entire life.
did I do this to you with watching Queen of the Damned the other week?
It was sort of incidental. It didn't hurt. It didn't hurt, but like Delaney's co-host on Girl Perverts, Vero, they were really into the latest season of Interview with the Vampire on AMC, and Matt and I had saw the first season when it came out, and it was like really good.
Yeah.
But that was years ago. And then I knew the second season had come out, and we just never got around to it. So we like tore through the second season, which fucking owns. And then we started the third season, which is the Queen of the Damned book. So it's like about Lestat and Akasha, sort of like the movie, with all the corn music in it.
Does he still become Marilyn Manson?
No, now he's sort of doing. They did sort of update it for the times. He's more of like I would say like indie trash. You know, like that sort of scene in like 2014. It definitely is. I say he has less of an aesthetic pull than like the Lestat in the Queen of the Damned film does. But the actor who plays Lestat is fucking incredible. Just on fire all the goddamn time. It's exactly the way that you would picture Lestat, where he's like superficially charming, but like an insane person with deep mental and emotional problems. So where he'll swing from, again, superficiality to like sort of funny, to incredibly cruel and violent. And that's just like one episode. It owns. So, yeah, I mean, maybe I too will inherit the dark gift. I can't wait to become a vampire. I would never succumb to the grief that comes with living forever.
No.
Jennifer.
You can follow me on Blue Sky, diatron5.swimfanspod.com. I'm on Letterboxd. I watched Hokum. You guys are right. I did not like that very much at all.
Please tell us more. Please go into more detail.
This episode is too long already. I'm gonna tease you with that and then collect my thoughts on Hokum for next time. But like, I had to know. You guys have brought it up nonstop for the past like 4 months, so I had to. Craig.
A fucking witch hung herself here.
It's literally a witch.
You can find me at Craig Neeson on Instagram and Letterboxd, CraigNeeson.com. My wife and I have been, once again, so I'm just repeating myself, just about to finish the run of Mob Psycho, and we're about to finish Succession. This would be my first time finishing Succession, so I'm very excited to see how many children Logan Roy is able to kill before he goes down.
Oh, I forgot to mention what I've been watching. I realized that I did that last time and I didn't do it.
Go off.
Go on.
Yeah, please do.
Buffy season 1, it's great. I will pray at the altar of the third Minions film, Minions and Monsters. It is actually a solid 3.5 stars, which is more than I expected a Minions film to ever do for me in life ever. Hence why I've never watched any. But I do genuinely feel a maternal instinct over the little minion who wants to make movies. And I'm not being like hyperbolic. It's like that it activates the motherly feelings that nothing else can. And I pre-gamed In the Earth with an episode of Inside Number 9 where we do actually see the Doctor actress and Shearsmith act together. It's called The Curse of the Ninth. It is a solid Victorian ghost story. I might be doing an essay about the series, so go check that out. But if you want to see what it actually would have been like if they'd had any fucking screen time, it still holds up pretty well. Solid half hour of television. There you go.
There you go.
Oh, and the Snakes and Steps challenge from Taskmaster Season 20, which is the cruelest thing they've ever done to anybody on that fucking show.
I love that. Okay, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.
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 Bye.